Good morning, everyone. I'm here with Ian Harris. He's the Chief Executive Officer of Outcrop Silver and Gold. Real exciting time, and thanks for joining me this morning, Ian.
Hey Sherman, always nice to chat. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, great to chat with you. And let's just get right into it. I was with one of my associates with Northern Graphite, and it was interesting. We were talking about all the minerals, and of course, the one that Cam Berg brought up was silver. And I think what we're finding with investors is they're looking for solid places to invest their capital as usual, and silver is one that really stood out. And so I just want to take a few minutes with you today and to get an update from you. And we're very pleased that you're the Chief Executive Officer of Outcrop Silver and Gold, and to give us a little bit of your background, and then talk a little bit about Outcrop Silver and Gold as well, and what's going on in Colombia. And I guess finally, to get your views on the silver market. So I'm here with Ian Harris, who's the Chief Executive Officer, Outcrop Silver and Gold. Maybe just tell us a little bit about yourself, Ian. I know you've got extensive experience in South America, and over to you.
Well, Sherman, as I went to school to be a mining engineer, right? So I like saying that, but I've got 25 years working in the industry, but I seem working community relations and politics and understanding the nitty-gritty and background of how to get big projects moving forward is kind of what I've been doing for the last at least 15 of those years. But as you alluded to, I've been 15 years in South America. One of the big parts of my life, and a game changer for me personally, was the experience of being Senior Vice President and Country Manager for Corriente Resources, and taking the Mirador project through sale. And then also, staying on board for a year afterwards as a part of the sales agreement, and starting the construction of that project, which was the first industrial scale project in the history of Ecuador. And that's really when the change happened, from being a mining engineer and seeing the broader aspect of what it takes to drive projects forward, the creation of real relationships locally, the creation of political will, and obviously all the technical components required of de-risking a project. And so I obviously love South America. I'm fluent in Spanish. I've been the last 7 years visiting Colombia, and the last 2 years living in Colombia. Obviously knew the Outcrop team very well personally. And I call them at the time it was a sister company. So seeing a huge opportunity with what the legacy that Joe left as the discovery, and the systematic approach to creating the first mineral maiden resource estimate, was kind of a perfect handoff, because this is kind of my sweet spot, right? You have a resource. It's now about expanding dramatically that resource, but the playbook is in place, right? The veins have been mapped, they've been sampled, and now it's just continuing to grow that resource systematically and start looking from an approach of how you de-risk a project. I like to. I've seen a few projects put into production from the meager beginnings, and I don't think there's a lot of companies can say the same. So that's one of the key criteria of coming on board, was, does this project have the potential to become a future mine? And that is one of the characteristics that Outcrop Santa Ana project has, right? It's, there's some key components to a wonderful primary silver project: high grade and number of ounces. And then the rest is, you're in a traditional mining district within Colombia. There's existing mines around the project. There's historical mines around the project. And it's obviously a strategic metal for the country, which is currently is very, very focused on advancing strategic metals. So those are the kind of key components of, and a little bit of my background and why I'm so excited about this next phase for Outcrop. You also mentioned one other thing about my feelings about silver, and as I'm a mining engineer, I'm very stubborn, right? I only like working in metals that have a real basis for market. I don't like flash in the pan stuff where one mine comes into production and it wipes out the market, and there's a lot of excitement driven around it. Or, I like fundamentals. It was interesting you mentioned graphite, because I think that's one of the most misunderstood and potential huge market, right? There's 3 times more graphite than lithium in a battery. So there's a real need, right? I won't go too much into graphite, but or copper. Obviously it's a deposit problem, is what I keep telling people. It's unlike everything else, it's a deposit problem. And silver is also very interesting because it's a quasi precious metal, and it's a quasi industrial metal, and obviously a highly manipulated market and controlled, right, between what's a virtual contracts versus actual real demand. And through the energy transition, and most people don't know this, but copper is the world's electrification metal, right? And there's only one metal in the world that is more efficient at transmitting energy than copper, and it's silver. And that's where the demand is coming from, right? And it's high tech energy transition, high efficiency. When that is critical, right? Heat loss is critical. Efficiency is critical. It's silver, right? That's why you see it so much in solar panels, for example, and other where that level of efficiency is critical. And so there's a real demand surge that is being created in silver. And you see where silver prices are today. It's cyclical. It goes up and it's down. It's up and down. It's kind of in a low point now. So it's an excellent time. And then you look across the board, and there's actually very few quality primary silver companies, non-producers in the world. I mean, I think I can name 5. Mm-hmm. Right. So, and that's what creates, Outcrop. It's 75% in Santa Ana project, 75% silver. It's a primary silver. It's one of the highest grade deposits in the world. It's already got 39 million ounces, and you're only looking at about 20% of an entire corridor. I think 9 out of 20 veins have been included in that resource, each one contributing an important component. And so you still got 20 left. And we're creating more every day. So we know this resource will continue to grow. It gets the kind of grades that gets market excited. We're currently drilling a 5,000 meter campaign. So we're going to have a nice news flow coming out. So the stars are kind of aligning, as it's a huge opportunity, and compared to its peers, is undervalued. So I look forward to demonstrating to market, delivering on the strategy at Outcrop, and continuing to impress and creating significant value over time. It's an exciting opportunity.
Well, I love these interviews where I don't have to ask any questions and I get all the answers.
I can read your mind, Sherman, but normally I don't talk this much, so I'm sorry. I apologize. I'll let you ask
it's been great. I've been here with Ian Harris, Chief Executive Officer, Outcrop Silver and Gold. Great overview, Ian, and I really do thank you for all the bullet points, and I agree with you 100%. I mean, you've got the stars aligning, as you say, with an excellent project run by very capable people and available at the right price. And I mean, that's really what investors need to be looking for. And that's why I brought up, my conversations just yesterday with some other associates. Even though they're in the graphite business, we're talking about the periodic table. And I'm not saying that you can throw a dart and buy anything, in the periodic table, but just about. But you have to own silver. And so here you've got this outstanding story, which is Outcrop Silver and Gold, available at a remarkably low price. And I guess just to end, and again, maybe a little bit more comment from you on silver as an investment. I mean, we look at the work of Eric Sprott, I mean, here's a guy that, you know, has been a silver bull for quite a while. And I mean, you know, you can go and listen to his podcast, but you know, Eric Sprott is arguably one of the smartest guys on the planet when it comes to silver, and he's the largest shareholder of Outcrop. So I don't know how many more buy signals we can give people, but you know, I think investors should be getting very excited about silver. So maybe in closing, I know you've already said some great things about silver, and maybe just highlight that the efficiency of silver again in terms of the electric vehicle. And I mean, I'll just add my 2 cents. I mean, I think silver as a store of value is going to be a remarkable thing to own, you know, in these uncertain times. So, you know, you got silver as the store of value, and then you got silver as this you know, industrial mineral, if you will, or industrial metal. And then you've got significant shareholders like Eric Sprott that are telling you which ones to buy. You know, what a great entry point for investors.
Yeah, I'm going to start. You know, silver it's like having gold and having copper at the same time, right? Because it is a wonderful insurance policy, right, in terms of wealth preservation. But it is also, you know, I've heard a very a lot. I'm going to try and make a very long story short, but you know, there's the chessboard where one piece of rice and it doubles every time, and the king is playing against the merchant, and then realizing that we're in this geometric curve, and we're right at the beginning of that curve of where demand hits that inflection point where, whoa, this is a big deal, right? We're right there entering in it too, right? Electric vehicle sales are doubling each year. And so I know that last year people were like, oh yeah, one day we're going to have 2035, we're going to be in all electric. No way. But if you ask that same question today, I know people are saying, whoa, it's going to happen. It's really going to happen. And you see all the OEMs, it's doing something they've never seen before, focusing on offtake, right? They're worried about supply chains. And so this is all building up. And then I'm going to go bring it all the way back to Outcrop, right? It's such a wonderful opportunity because I think the story is misunderstood, right? I don't think people realize that Maiden Resource is not a project with a pin in it. It is a small portion over an overall corridor. And Joe did an amazing job proving to the world that this grade hangs together. Over 60% of it is in the indicated category. It goes over strike and it goes over depth. It hangs together. It's just not some little nugget effect spread across an ore chute. It's real grade, and it's held and contained across every single one of the veins. So each one of these veins and ore chutes are contributing an important component. So he's proven the thesis that all these other veins that we're going to be drilling out soon are only going to add significant amount of ounces. So I'm not talking this resource will grow by 10% or 20%. It will be doubling, has the potential to be doubling, tripling, quadrupling, because now it's just drill out this corridor because the geostatistics are done and proves that it's holding together. And so that's very exciting, right? And I don't think most people understand that this is just the beginning of Outcrop, and it's going to be an exciting ride. We're drilling. We're going to be putting out news results. We got the financing to execute on this drilling. Silver prices are suppressed, and we all think it's just winding up. So I like the stars are aligning for Outcrop.
Well, again, thank you so much. We've been with Ian Harris, the CEO of Outcrop Silver and Gold. You know, really look forward to catching up with you in a couple of weeks. And I know you're off to Colombia. And once again, thank you so much for your time, Ian.
Thanks, Sherman.